Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you about where you're focusing your attention. If you're anything like me, the last few weeks for me have been really difficult. Not only have we experienced a death in the family, but also I've been having a difficult time dealing with my son and the depression that he's dealing with. So that's a lot to be going on, and there's other stuff going on too. And it could be really easy to focus my attention on all of the bad things that are happening. In fact, that would be such a human thing to do. But what I realize is that when I focus my attention on the wrong thing, that's what tends to grow. I tend to start seeing more of the bad when I focus only on that. But that's what we've been conditioned to do. How many of you have been around people who are negative? And I'll have to admit, growing up, a lot of the people who were in my life were very negative. So when something bad would happen, they would just focus on that thing only. So it's easy to understand why I tend to do the same thing, or I used to tend to do the same thing, I should say. And it really is all about training yourself, your mindset. It's about redirecting your brain, reprogramming your brain, and it can be done. But as I said before, if you're like me and you had years and years and years of practice focusing on the negative and getting super upset and emotional when something bad happens, it's really hard to pull yourself out of that. It can be done though. One of the reasons that it's really, really important that you don't keep focusing on the negative is because when you focus your attention on that, you are calling in more of that. And not only are you calling in more of that, but when you're focusing your attention on the negative and all the things that are going wrong in your life, you're making yourself miserable, which is not a great way to live. And I have to say here too, really quickly, if you're hearing any background noise, I'm having work done at my house because our shower broke, and of course it was built in 1959, and so it was not an easy fix. It was not simply a change the faucet kind of a thing. It was tear out the wall and change something in it kind of a thing. But luckily I have a wonderful uncle who came here and is helping and is fixing all of that. But if you hear anything in the background, that's what it is. But again, I choose not to focus on what's going wrong. You know, I could focus on that if I wanted to, but that's not going to get me anywhere. I could sit and I could dwell on how Sunday I was supposed to have some self-care time finally and go get a massage, and instead I was sleeping on the floor in the ER. But I'm not going to dwell on that or focus on that because that is just going to breed more misery for me. And it does not matter what happened. Those temporary things come in and they may rock our world a little bit. But we are not supposed to live lives that are unhappy, miserable. And when we focus on the bad, when we focus on what I don't have, the lack, or all the bad stuff that I see coming in and happening, we're focusing on the wrong thing. We're turning our attention to it, and it looks like to the universe, this is what I want more of because this is what I'm choosing to focus my attention on. And the universe says, okay, you want more of that? I'll give you more of that. And I know that I've done podcasts on this particular topic before, and I do apologize. I am so extremely tired right now. I still haven't caught up on the sleep from, the other day, but bear with me. I know I've done this topic before, but it's so important that it bears repeating because I myself am a person who needs a reminder from time to time. I myself am a person who can, from time to time, focus on what's going wrong instead of what's going right. Take today, for instance. I went to bed. I normally try to go to bed around 10, but my son came in and he wanted to talk to me. And, he's been struggling, so I wanted to be there for him and talk. And it was after 11 when we got done talking. And I went to bed and slept really well. And when my alarm clock woke me up, which normally I usually wake up before my alarm, it jolted me out of bed, and it was chilly in the house because we're at this stage in the fall season where we're trying to see how long we can go before we have to turn on the heat. So it was down in the 50s or even maybe like upper 40s this morning, but I was not about to turn on the heat yet. So I did one of those song and dances where I have to jump out of bed quickly and get dressed quickly so it's not so cold. But it also makes it a lot harder to get out of bed. And then I went to school, and the earrings I had on, somehow I managed to lose both of them throughout the day. They just didn't stay in. And there were just a lot of little things here and there. And I could choose to say, oh, this was a crappy day. But I don't, and I'm not going to, because there are a lot of really good things that happened during the day too. A lot of really good things. And so that's what you need to choose to focus on. You need to focus on what's going well in your life, what's going good in your life. Crappy things happen all the time. People will hurt you. People will turn out to be not the people you thought they were. Situations won't pan out the way you thought they would. Things come in unexpectedly and you weren't prepared for them. Those kinds of things happen. And you know what? Have your moment. It's perfectly fine to feel your feelings, to say, I'm so frustrated, but then it's time to move on. Get the feelings out and then stop focusing on the lack. Because when you continue to focus on the lack, you're going to miss the blessings in your life. And you have so many. But this is something that happens all the time. We focus on the one or two bad things that happen throughout our day. And then we don't remember the good things that happen throughout our day. Like today, I made some new connections with some of my students, ones who never talked before in the class because it was a large class. And there were so many kids, and today there was a field trip for all sophomore students, so there were only 4 kids in my class. And these 4 kids really don't ever say too much, and they talked my ear off today, and it was great. Because had that not happened, I probably never really would have been able to make that kind of a connection with those kids because they're all pretty shy, quiet kids. And they just told me all about what they like from the class and what they liked last year. And it was great getting to know those kids personally and meet their personalities, because when you have a class of 28 students and you have many boisterous students in that class, it's really hard to get to know the ones who just kind of hang back and don't participate. And the thing is, I always used to be that kind of kid too. My teachers probably really didn't remember much about me because I wasn't the stellar top, child who aced everything. And I also wasn't a bad kid. I was just somewhere around the middle of the road. I was a good kid. I wasn't a C student. I did better than that, but I wasn't a straight A student. So I just kind of blended in. And I feel like the kids that I got to talk to today were probably the same kind of students. So it's nice to get to see them, get to know them. But had I focused on the fact that I was tired, I lost my earrings, it was, if I said, oh, it was a bad day, I wouldn't be able to focus on what went well with the day, what was good about the day. And it was also Allie's senior night for tennis, and they threw her a big party, and it was cute. We got to watch it, and they dumped ice water on her from the Gatorade tub like they do on TV. We got that on video, so that was awesome too. But again, if I'm not choosing to focus on the right thing, I'm going to miss those moments because I'm so focused on what I don't have instead of being focused on what I do have. there are a lot of times when in my life I chose to focus on the fact that it wasn't fair that I had to raise my kids by myself. And I would say that a lot, like, it isn't fair. But here's the deal. I chose that life. I wanted to be there for them, and I knew that they needed somebody. So to pull that whole "it's not fair" card is ridiculous. And also, when I focus on what isn't fair, what's difficult, I'm missing out on all of the good things that I got to witness because I had stepped up and because I did take on this role. I got to be there for all of their firsts. I got to be there to witness them in their sports and getting academic awards and just their laughter from playing games and spending time together at Disney World and all the things that we've done. I get to be a part of that. But it would be really easy for me to focus on how hard it was. Oh, this is so difficult. And you know what? Yeah, it was. It is. But that's life. That's called being a parent. It isn't easy. They don't come with an instruction manual. Nobody tells you, hey, you're doing a good job. You're just kind of expected to know these things. And there were times when I didn't do the best job because I didn't know what I was doing. But I was there, and I got to witness all of the awesome things and see the people that they're becoming who make me so proud every day. And if I chose to focus only on the negative, what's wrong with everything, I wouldn't experience that. You know, I know there's a lot of you who are out there who are also single parents, or even if you're not single parents, you're going through something that's extremely difficult right now. And I get it. And it's difficult. No one is saying to you that it's not. No one is trying to diminish your experience at all. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you have a choice to either play the victim and every day say, this isn't fair. You know what? There's a lot of things in life that aren't fair. A lot. And you're going to come across things that aren't fair in your life. Every day, you're going to come across things and you'll think to yourself, this isn't fair. And it's not fair. But if you choose to focus on that, you're just playing the victim. It's not really going to help you to sit there and shout it's not fair and you look pretty silly throwing a tantrum about it. You're just going to feel miserable and it's not going to change anything. But if we can get to the point where, yes, we acknowledge it might not be fair, but we say, I can get through this. I have a whole team supporting me. And I deserve to be happy. So I'm going to focus on all the things that I have that make me happy. And then start doing that. Because you deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to live a life where you feel miserable. And if all you see are all of the things that aren't fair to you, you're going to be miserable. And it would be easy to be in that place. I get it. I'm a human being too, and I've been there many times. I've said it's not fair more times than you care to know, and I even just said it recently. But that's okay, because we're learning. We're learning that it's okay to feel those feelings. It's not okay to stay there with those feelings. It's like you can visit your feelings, but don't move in with them. You've got to acknowledge what you're feeling and get it out. But when you decide to start residing there permanently and changing your address, that's when you start inviting more of those miserable visitors to come and join you. Because you're focused on all the things you don't want to see. So guess what you're doing? You're calling that in. Oh, I hope that no bills come in. Well, how about if you just say, I know I can pay for everything. I know I have plenty of money. We can flip the script. We can turn it around. We can change our thinking. It's a process, but you can do it. When that victim thought pops into your head, this isn't fair, change it. Okay, so let's say this isn't fair that I'm a single mom and I have to do all the work. Change it to, I'm so lucky that I get to be here to witness all of the things my children are doing firsthand. And you may not feel like it some days. I get it. There were days when my kids were little that I was so tired, I didn't know how I was going to function. I would get up at 5 o'clock, go to work all day, drive an hour home, quickly make supper, then get the kids ready to go, jump in the car, run to baseball, and sit at baseball for 2 hours, thinking about all the things I had to do still before I could go home and go to bed, when all I wanted to do was to go home and go to bed because I was so exhausted. And that was my life for a long time. And unfortunately, I can't go back and change that. I should have instead looked forward to getting to go and to watch them play. And I'm sure that my children, even though I tried to fake it and be happy, and I know they knew I was tired. And you're human. That happens. But just make sure you're not missing out on the really important things because you're just too tired, too busy, it's too stressful. Whatever excuse you have, as believe me, you can come up with a ton of excuses for any one given thing. And like I said, I get it. I lived exhausted most of the time. But that's also where you have to strike a healthy balance. If you're a single parent, that might be difficult, but maybe if you have people in your life that you could say, hey, can you do this for me so that I can do this? Trade off so that you can have some time to go get a massage or whatever it is that you need. I know I'm definitely going to go and make up the massage that I missed because I need it. And I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy the time I have with my kids. And I'm going to realize that these little bumps in the roads are just that. That whole, if it doesn't matter in 5 months from now, it doesn't really matter. Well, it's true. Stop making yourself crazy over things that really aren't going to amount to much. When you look back at your life, you say, oh, that was devastating and I'll never ever get over that. For most things, it would be a no. Most things, a week or two later, you've forgotten all about whatever the thing was that got you so upset in the first place. And it all works out. It has a tendency to work out anyway. So it's time for you to shift your focus. When a thought pops into your head and you know it's negative, I want you to switch that thought. I want you to change it, reframe it in whatever way you need to change it to a positive one. Stop focusing on the things that don't make you feel good. If something happened to you and it upset you, stop thinking about it. I know that sounds dumb because you're like, what? How can I? You can. Replace it with a different thought. Obsessing over what's happened that is upsetting and isn't making you happy, that's not going to help you. It's only going to give you anxiety and make you more upset. And really, when a thought like that, when things start happening that you seem to be obsessed over some certain situation, change your thought. If you need to go for a walk or go do something to distract yourself, do it. Because sitting and dwelling in the negative is not going to help you. In fact, you're just going to end up making yourself miserable and calling more of this crap into your life. So you need to stop doing that. Start paying more attention to what you're thinking and start learning how to change your thinking. All right? Well, I wanted to pull a card for you before I said goodbye for today. And the card that I pulled for you is from the Teachings of Abraham deck. And it's the harder I push against it, the more I attract its essence. When you find some unwanted thing that you want to shout no at, shout briefly and then turn your attention to the thing you do want. Any attention to anything is a practicing of the vibration that will bring it unto you. So in other words, if you keep focusing on the thing you don't want, you're calling that into being. But if you shift your attention to what it is you do want, you're going to call that into being. You're practicing changing your vibration to call in the things that you want instead of calling in the things that you don't. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. If you like my podcast, please share it with others. Please subscribe. That helps others to find me. And my mission is to help as many people heal as possible. And there are days that I am exhausted myself and I think, boy, I just really don't know if I can record a podcast today. And then I think about where I was over a year ago and how I needed somebody to speak to me daily on my car rides to keep my mind in check and to keep me from slipping back into that negative mindset. And I think, no, I'm going to do this today because I know that people need to hear this message. So thank you for listening because I know there's a lot of podcasts and you have a lot to choose from, so I appreciate the fact that you're here with me. If you would like to work with me, there are so many ways you can work with me. You can book a Reiki session. Now, my Reiki sessions are all done. They're done online via Zoom, which is a video chat program, so it is not in person. But have no fear. They are just as good as if you were in person. It works just the same. And the added bonus is that you can be in your own bed relaxing. So you can be as comfy as you want and you don't have to put on makeup or get dressed to have a Reiki session. I mean, you may want to put clothes on. But, you can be in your pajamas. So if you'd like to book a session with me, a coaching session, a Reiki session, or you want to book one of my online classes, you can go to my website to learn more about what I offer and how much they cost. Everything is right there on my website, melissaoatman.com. You can book, though, by emailing me, or you can text me, or you can message me on my website, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. There's so many ways to get a hold of me, and I don't care which way you get a hold of me. Any way is perfect. And if you would like to sign up for my Reiki course, there is a sign up on my website. If you go to the Usui Level 1 Reiki course, the description of the course is there. And then there's a purple button that says, yes, I'd like to sign up. You can fill that out. And once I get a group together, I'm going to actually start the course because I would like to run it as a group course if I can. Of course, if I don't get a group together, I can do it individually. I just think that you would benefit more from being in a group setting. So you can sign up there or you can email me. That's fine too. Just to let me know of your interest. And don't forget, you can join me on my Facebook Lives Mondays at 5:30 Central, where I do a free card reading for you. If you feel so inclined, if you like my podcast, you like my card readings and everything that I do, and you would like to donate to my channel, it would be much appreciated. Just a way of saying thank you and returning energy back to me. I totally appreciate those of you who follow me and listen. You can donate through Venmo, and my information is there in the description to the podcast. Again, you do not have to. This is just if you feel so inclined, that would be much appreciated. Again, I want to say thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.